Pillars of Eternity. We're going to do two things. We'll try to get to the grieving mother and get hers. I figure out. Bet that's the other place I gotta go.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to recruit the Weeping Mother.
Gods keep you.
What are the odds? Stuck in this backward, I only meet the famed champion of Defiance Bay. Barrows Wheel brings mercy today indeed. Perhaps you could help. I don't suppose you saw a young elven noblewoman on the road. I'm stuck in this wretched place with the rest of my unit until we find her. I haven't seen anyone like that. Same as everyone else in this blazing village. Perhaps you could go speak with Lord Heron in the inn anyway. He'd be grateful for the assistance, and it'd be the locals will open up to you about his daughter's disappearance more than they have to us. Alright. Sure. First. The important things. Companions. Oh, he looked like he was walking funny. I thought he might have been You gonna be a weirdo or... Gallowing slobbering beast, blazing bloody, effigy, thrice damned, salty wenchers, soggy. What's wrong? That monster stole my pigs, traipsed into the village, tore down my pen, and made off with a whole damned herd. Just left a few little runts. What am I supposed to do with them? What are you talking about? An ogre moved in the area not long ago. Folks had been seeing glimpses and tracks out in the woods, but it seemed to be staying away from town. So we all thought. Till it made off with my pigs. Now everyone's afraid it's going to develop a taste for kit if it hasn't already. Did you see the ogre take your pigs? What else could have destroyed my pen and made off with my herd? And at the same time, the rest of the village is seeing a 10-foot monster in the forest. I know it's too late to get my pigs back, but it set my mind at ease to see that that thing's head shorn from its neck. In fact, if you bring its ugly pate to me, I'll trade you for something that's less used to a farmer to me than like a rowdy-looking sort like yourself. Alright, what do you know about this ogre? It's the same as any other, I'm sure. Big, ugly son of a bitch with a nasty temper and an appetite to match. Tiergo could tell you more. He claims to have seen it in the wood. You can find him in his shop right by the broken tower. Need anything else? Nope, I'm good. What is that up to? The woman looks briefly through you as if she doesn't know you're there. The middle-aged peasant woman is dressed in a brown leather cloth draped down to her knees. Her hands are working at separating stringy, colorless vegetables in a pile before stripping the heads off the long, fibrous stems with a paring knife. She discards the stems one by one, placing the heads of the vegetables into a small, cradle-like basket in front of her. She doesn't greet you as you approach. You're not sure she even knows you're there. Excuse me. The woman doesn't respond. She keeps stripping the heads from the vegetables with a steady rhythm. She may be deaf. There's no indication she heard you. At first glance, she seems nothing more than a middle-aged woman. Unremarkable, maybe less stern than most, who seems more focused on the weaving in her lap than her surroundings. You suddenly notice she's not stripping the vegetables before her any longer. She's weaving, and the vegetable pots are now missing. She still pays you no mind, her brown locks torn and snagged from lack of washing. Like many of the town folks you've seen, there's a strange blur to her. Even the motion of her hands seems to be playing with threads that lack color and a shape that lacks interest. It may be that she is half-minded, deaf, but something feels wrong. As you watch, her knitting takes on an odd cadence, and you have a terrible suspicion that something lurks beneath what your eyes are showing you. She wasn't knitting a second ago. Her brown hair is long, almost impossibly to the length of her hands. As you follow the streams of her locks downwards, the hair become long, black, splitting into threads of black and silver, wrapping around her hands. She is forming a soul cradle with the threads, braiding a net in front of you, each finger long and sharp like a series of knitting needles, almost hypnotic. The silver and black strands of her hair weave together with silver predominating as a highlight, the black shadowing it. And suddenly, you're calm. You're on a plateau almost the height of a tower, several stories high. The plateau is like a table lying beneath a clear sky, and beneath the plateau, surrounding it in all directions, a forest, hazy with mist, although whether it is actual mist or distance, a recollection. Resting in the curve of a natural arc above you is a great copper bell, half again the size of a man, hanging at attention as if looking down at you on the event unfolding before you. The plateau has soaked in the sun, and the rock beneath you is rough and warm. The sky forms a cradle around you, and you feel different. Not disembodied, but you feel your body, your physical contours have changed along with the surroundings. And you hear a soft series of chimes, like wind chimes. At the sound, the scene gains color, texture, as if the sound is beckoning you gently forth, filling your senses and thoughts like mist rolling into a sealed chamber. And the chime coaxes you deeper to the memory. You're certain it is a memory, a warm one. You are on the stone of the plateau, your knees on the warm texture of the ground, silver, white, shimmering like Atra? The plateau is formed of it, glistening in the sun. You can feel the heat on your skin, your wrists, your hands. Your hands are in motion, weaving, not thread, but gathering, tenderly moving along the first movements of Barath's wheel. Your hands are wet, your hands are upon the flesh of a newborn child. You can feel the crowning of a tiny head turning in your grip, its head slick, wet from the womb. The hands you are wearing, inhabiting, have done this many times, and they are practiced and confident. You can feel distant pains in your own head as the head emerges, a stream of fluid from the womb helping the newborn slide forth. The woman's labored breathing, crying out. Focus on the child, movement of your hands. And as your hands move, you hear the sounds of chimes, clear, cutting through the haze of memory. You cannot see where they are coming from, but they are close. And they are meant as comfort. Of that you are certain. And coaxed by your hands, every movement causing the chimes to sound again. Almost eagerly, the child comes forth, and as it does, your hands are in motion, weaving, moving along the length of a long, soft, wet rope. No, an umbilical cord from the legs of a naked woman before you. You are holding a small child, still wet from the woman before you. The child cries out, its cry full of life, full of soul, the ringing of chimes echoing in its thoughts, filling it with its welcome. The soul is blurred at the edges if you are viewing a soul from within a soul, but it is there, it is alive. The woman before you is weeping, and at her first cry, her hands reach out for it. You surrender the child to her, something you have done many times before. And as your hands move, the child's echo the movement, and you realize the chimes are hanging from cords on your wrists, and where once they echoed in the memory, they are now echoing in the child's mind as well. The chimes are intended to welcome the child, to be its first gentle greeting into the world, a soothing sound guided by the tender motion of your wrists. You are helping to weave its thoughts, its perceptions, and the experience. The woman laughs with a ragged joy, laughing from a parched throat. Her emotions seem soothed, but the physical demands of labor have left her exhausted. But the child is here, the child is safe, and all atop the plateau is peaceful, calm, distant, flattening out as the memory persists. With effort, the scene bleeds of color, and your mind becomes your own. There is no pull, no anchor, yet the sound of the chimes remain. As they exist in the memory, they sound here as well, and they are hanging from woven braids on the wrist of the woman before you. Even as your head is spinning from the touch of her mind, the sound of the chimes on her wrist is sharp, clear, as if coaxing you back to the real world. The woman still sits before you, but she is nothing like what you first saw. She is wearing black, shredded garments that drape over her form like streamers. Her hair is streaks of black and run through with silver. Her age is almost impossible to tell. She simply feels old, like a crumbled watchtower. As she lifts her head to face you, you see that her hair is draped across the front of her face like a veil. What you first saw of her was a mental glamour of some sort, unconscious, and you realize what you see is not what the world sees. You are perhaps the first to see her true self. Still, you don't sense a threat in the realization. If anything, you feel a sense of relief from the figure. You can hear her thoughts, and she is glad to at last be seen. What was that?
I am seen, but the eyes of others do not remember. You were the first to see me as I am, the call stripped aside.
There's a light touch on your mind, a caress, and her left hand mirrors the motion of the touch reaching up to the air between you. You hear the chime on her wrist sound. Softly, her hand moves as if pantomiming, resting on your cheek at a distance, and she speaks softly, slowly.
Your memories. A cadence of wheels on a caravan track. Fever. Questions by running water. Violence in a night's campfire. Arrows in the dark. And fleeing. Falling rock and cracking stone. And a storm. The storm. The storm that brushed you. Did its screaming wake you from your mind's cradle? Your memory of it is painful. Its cry is difficult to ignore. It's like a child. Many children crying out.
I encountered a biwak, yes, and it did something to me. Her hand withdraws slowly, the chime sounding softly once again. The woman stands uncertainly as she has been sitting for some time, or is too weak to bear her own weight. You notice her cheekbones are tight, her face gaunt, and while her stance is weak, she seems determined to stand before you.
You are able to see me.
It is almost a question. You suddenly realize that she doesn't seem to know what you saw when you looked at her. The image on the plateau, yet the image was so clear, so sharp. You're surprised she didn't feel you there.
To see me is a rare gift. A watcher's gift.
I've never been able to do that with a living person, except with you.
So many questions, thoughts, whirling like storm winds. That storm still roars through you, deep beneath your thoughts, yet muted and secret, like an underground river. I cannot tell if it is carving new channels, or eroding what keeps your true strength buried. The fact that you could hear it at all, survive it, is something few have ever done. Your power will grow stronger with each soul you touch, as it allowed you to reach out to mine.
There is a silence, now that seems to last for but a heartbeat. In your thought, it stretches out between the two of you, like a pull between your minds. You blink, take a breath. You realize she wants to ask you a question. You can't form the words, as if assembling them is painful, or there are simply not enough pieces. Do you wish to travel with me? You feel a wave of fear gusted with the strength of relief, although oddly her expression does not change. Then the fear dissipates and you feel strength, certainly, as if the plateau from memory lies beneath you, and a calm sky looks down upon you. Sweet, I don't think I ever got her. Who do I want to get rid of? I kind of want to dump you.
You walk your path, I'll walk mine.
Let's see here. She's going to be... And I don't know what he was. Let's look at what I got. Survival, lore and mechanics, athletics, stealth, athletics. So she can be whatever she wants to be. See how this goes. This could be interesting.
Hail and well met.
A young woman leans against a wagon. One arm and one side of her face are covered in bandages, raw, rippled flesh showing underneath. Mingy, tangy scent wafts from her dressing. Just ventured into town. I'm about dry on some of my stocks, but you're welcome to have a look-see. You know anything about any Withian rune nearby? Hard to throw a stone in the wilds without knocking over someone's sacred age or pillars. Smart travelers avoid them. But if you're really set in sightseeing, Biodar could point you in the right direction. He keeps up a little temple on the northwest edge of town.
Hail, traveler.
You said your supplies are limited. What happened? Damn roads. Can't reach none of my suppliers, so I'm stuck with whatever I can scrounge up in the wood. Dry cap, rivery, the like. That's well and good, but most potions require something stronger, too. Troll skin, bone, what have you. And then there's the really rare ingredients, things you'd never be able to afford, let alone find on your own. And what did you find? I've been keeping an eye on a drake's nest east of town at Dyrford's Crossing. The beast stayed just long enough to lay a clutch and move on. Thank the Sky Mother it wasn't a full-grown dragon. Fresh eggs are much more useful than the ones that get passed between merchants or left in the nest for weeks or more. That clutch looked to be at its peak. Thought I'd see about getting an egg. Didn't realize so many of them had already hatched, but the young worms were so territorial. I could get an egg for you. I sure hope you're not leading me out. I don't think I could stand getting burned again. If you really mean to go after, I'd certainly pay you. Just remember, big as they are, dragon eggs are fragile, and there's a lot more I can do with the whole one. So how'd you get burned? By the flame, how bad does it look? Just say it. I know you tell me straight. It looks like it hurts. It's a mighty soft way of putting it. Told you about my run-in with the worms. I reckon you put the rest together already. Tell me again about the dragon egg? Alright. And what's wrong with the roads? Brigands, looters, you name it. The gods may be hollowing out our babies, but it's grown folk that are robbing out the rest of us. So show me your wares. I need to check open every door.
Good day to you.
Haven't seen you before. Always glad to see a new place in town. Company's good for business, and chatter's good for the soul. That's what I say anyway. Anyhow, what can I do for you? So what's been going on in Dyrford? Oh, we're a quiet little town. Not much happens here, especially not since the legacy hit. People realized they couldn't have babies and just stopped trying altogether, and that takes a lot of the excitement out of the day-to-day, if you can believe that. Alright, show me what you have for sale. Huh? Oops.
Don't bother the caddy, Tumak. You'd have better odds against a Stelgar. Ugh, smells like my old hunting leathers.
Well met, friend.
You looking to purchase some leather? Rumbald mentioned something about an ogre. He's hardly talked about anything else since those pigs of his went missing. The whole town's been worried about that monster. People are starting to see shapes in their windows at night, hearing us growl and the snoring of their mates. It would put a lot of minds to ease if someone got rid of it. I sometimes venture into the wilderness collecting your ingredients for my dyes, mind you. I've seen tracks east of here near the river. That could have been anything. That couldn't have been anything else. What's in the collapsed tower? It's collapsed. Nothing. A few hides on stretching racks, then tallow stench Dingler's always grumbling about. The rest of the keep's dust, just like the foul lady Thanu who tried to hold it. There's a bar at the inn who'll tell you the whole blazing story if you want to hear it. I cannot speak English today. Ooh. Hold on.
Out with you! I already told you what... I'm sorry. I thought you were one of those ruffians.
Looks like someone's beating us here. That's bad.
How may I help you?
What happened to you?
I never saw their faces. Strange hooded men asking about those ruins. Cleoban Relag. Most of the brigands who come through here asking about the ruins are looking for a few ancient trinkets. But these people knew the name, and they were in a hurry. They wanted to know where Cleoban Relag was. I tried to keep it from them, but I couldn't hold out forever. I don't know what they were up to, but it can't be good.
That does sound like the leaden key, doesn't it? Is there something else I can help you with? Can you tell me where to find the ruins?
The Glanfathan tribe that guards the ruins will kill anyone who trespasses there. And they'll retaliate against us, too, if history is any indication. We've had too many fortune seekers stir up trouble of late. If I'm to tell you, I'll need to know your reason for wanting to go.
A dangerous plot is unfolding there, and I've got to stop it.
If that's the case, then we may already have trouble headed our way. I'll have to take you at your word. You'll find Cleoban Relag here. Whatever trouble you find there, please end it quietly and try to stay out of the ruins.
Tell me more about Dyrford. Folks here tend to keep to themselves as they do in most towns this deep in the Deerwood. They're suspicious of travelers, but with all the brigands and refugees moving through the area, who can blame them? People in town say that the Hollowborn problem has been especially bad here. It has. Cities and villages all over the Deerwood have seen Hollowborn, but Dyrford hasn't seen the birth of an unaffected child in years. Most of our people have moved on to other villages in search of hope, and those who have stayed behind aren't the same. Children promise a future, you know. People change when you take that away from them. So this is the Temple of Barath? What can you tell me about Barath? Barath is the most universal of all the gods. It oversees portals and cycles of all kinds, even life and death itself. Under Barath, an ending is merely a passage to another beginning. Barath has many representations across time and across cultures. Around the Deerwood, you'll commonly see it depicted as the Pallid Knight or the Usher. The Glanfathans, however, know it as Benwyn, I Eknu, and Eknu I Benwyn. Tell me about the Pallid Knight. She's one of the youngest manifestations of Barath, but a familiar one nonetheless. Stories describe her as a gaunt knight in a black armor with black eyes, black hair, milk pale skin. She demands an impossible toll from travelers who have tarried too long on her lord's road. Some challenge her only to slay themselves in the process. And the Usher? Kith have written stories, songs, and poems about the Usher for centuries. Sometimes he's folk, sometimes he's dwarf, sometimes merely a walking skeleton. He never speaks, but he guides the way to death and the next life. He also creates the circumstances for wayward to stumble into their own graves. I've never heard of Benwyn Eknu and Eknu I Benwyn. It means life and death and life, respectively. You see them as two skeletal figures, one male, one female. Explorers have found them carved opposite one another in doorways, but I know of no particular legends that speak of them. Thank you for the information. Very well. Let's go talk to this lord about his missing daughter.
I just want to find her. Surely even you can understand that.
We're decent folk, my lord. Perhaps you should leave and check the wilds.
Well, you guys are assholes.
How do you do?
Don't see many travelers these days. Something I can do for you? What was your exchange with that nobleman about? Folks around here is decent. They mind their own business. You want to stick your nose in it? Go talk to him yourself. I have questions about Dyrford. Ask, tell me about the village. Walk from one bridge to the next and you've seen it. We're quiet, hard-working folks. We keep to ourselves and don't take to being pushed around. There used to be a castle here built by some family of Adirian Thanes back when the Empire first came. Only one tower still standing, and that's part of Tyrgol's shop now. Sid, that bard by the fire, could spin you a yarn if you were so inclined. So who lives in Dyrford? Not many anymore. Hard to keep people around when everyone's here birthing Hollowborn. You got a few who stick around and do business. Tyrgol's the leather courier. Henda crafts potions, and Winfrith trades in general goods. Rumbald's a pig farmer, or was anyway. So something happened to Rumbald's pigs, I take it? Damn ogre carried them off. Now he squeals more than his herd ever did. Rotten luck. And Winfrith? Been around even longer than I have. Nice enough fellow, but never could find his way to the end of his sentence. His shop's across the square. And what about Trigil? He's a courier. Treats leathers and makes armor and a few other goods with it. Problem is the smell of the tallow and deer shit tends to put people off their food. His shop's right next door. And what's Hendina's story? Lady's a clever hand with portions and poultices. Got herself into trouble with a nest of worms, so I hear. Her cart's on the east side of town. You said you don't see many travelers? Of course not. Why would they come here? We got bandits on the road, an ogre in the forest. As that yapping fool Rumble will tell you. Worse yet, there hasn't been a healthy child born here in over a year. Most get that come here is just passing through. About that ogre? You don't hardly see him this close to town. Ogres and Kith don't mix well. Ugly bastards, but they're smart enough to know that much. Want to know more, talk to Rumble. His farm is south of here. Alright. The man wears a deer-style robe, simple but elegant. His fine leather shoes look like they were made for padding around indoors, but they're caked with mud. He hangs at a lock of hair twined around his silk-gloved finger. His fine features are etched with anxiety.
My child is out there. Do they not understand?
My lord, we're doing everything we can. Unfortunately, these villagers...
Beasts take them all. I don't care how you do it, but find her.
Your child is missing, I take it?
Yes, Lady Alice. My daughter. I've asked around, but nobody in this mudhole has any concerns beyond their swine. They turn my men away like beggars and seem downright pleased to be of no use. But you're not one of my soldiers. And you look like you're used to getting your hands dirty, if you don't mind my saying so.
My lord, if you find her, tell her I won't be upset with her. She can come back and all will be well. I just want to make sure that at least my child is safe. Nothing in the world is more important to me. I'd like to ask a few questions about your daughter.
Alice. Of course.
Describe her? She's a striking young woman. Bears no more resemblance to her mother than to me. She has auburn hair, delicate, well-bred features. She must be, 28 or 29 now. You don't know how old your daughter is? So tell me about her disappearance. We stopped in Dyrford for a few days. On our fourth evening here, I was making plans to continue our journey. Lady Elise was feeling unwell and went to bed. When I retired a couple hours later, I found that she had vanished. None of my men had seen her go, and no one at the inn knew where she was. Since then, my people have been combing the village, but we've yet to find a clue, and the locals have been no help. So why did you and Elise come to Dyrford? It was a mere stop along the way to Ina's Rest. However, she took ill shortly before our arrival, so it seemed prudent to allow her a few days to recover. And what's in Ina's Rest? He frowns as about to protest, but gives him with a sigh. Lady Elise has reached an age where it is prudent for her to marry. Given this legacy business, I can't let her fertile years slip by, nor do I want her womb to fester in the presence of so many Hollowborn. There are better roads along the coast. Wouldn't it have been easier to follow them to Ina's Rest? If I thought that, I wouldn't be slogging through the forest, would I? The main roads are clogged with people fleeing one way or another to try and escape Waidwin's legacy. It would be difficult for a caravan like mine to pass without incident. At the time, it seemed prudent to move quietly along the back roads. But it seems there would be more potential suitors at New Helmar or New Yarma. You think I hadn't considered that? Arranging a suitable match is difficult. The best prospects for my child lay in Ina's Rest. And where's the rest of your family? Surely they wouldn't want to miss your daughter's betrothal. Lady Huron is ill-suited for travel, I'm afraid, and unfortunately Alis has a few other close relatives. My sister and her husband, Alis's aunt and uncle, of course, have been visiting Adir these past few months. And as for siblings, Alis has none. My wife has only given birth to Hollowborns since, Alis, that is. I see, but going back to your daughter. I heard you were arguing with that innkeeper.
A petty, small-minded man, just like the rest of them around here. I've been paying him an honest fee for board and bed, and yet he can't be bothered to stir himself to concern for my Alice.
This is why I'm hoping you can help. I should have never trusted these people around my child. Alright, so tell me about yourself.
I'm Lord Nestor Harrond of Defiance Bay. My family has been prominent there since Imperial times. Our primary estate is on the outskirts of Brackenbury, but we have holdings in New Haomar as well. Those went to my sister and her husband.
Alright. I need to look at something real quick. Saber, stiletto, club, pistol, and blunderbuss. Stiletto. Keep my eye out for another tiger. Dylan hovers by the window, peering out every few seconds. As she went into the room, she watched you carefully. Anyone follow you? Who sent you? What are you talking about? The man leaning against the wall glanced at the door and nods to the Orland. Some old friends from Defiance Bay are looking for me. We're not exactly friends anymore, if you catch my drift. I'm just trying to lie low and mind my own business. Know what I mean? Boss. Looks at the Enuma looks at the Orland and jerks his head towards you. Alright, alright. My friend here thinks maybe you could help out. Now, I'm sure you're a busy woman, so I'll make it worth your time. Just go look around town. Come back and let me know if the coast's clear if you see any suspicious figures. Well, you're pretty suspicious. What's this all about? I've got myself in trouble with some powerful people in Defiance Bay. Powerful criminal people. I suppose it was bound to happen eventually. I'm a thief by trade. It's hard to do my kind of business in the city without crossing them eventually. Now I'm just trying to put some distance between us. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but you don't seem like the type to run your mouth off. Alright.
I shall do as you ask. What you ask is done. I shall do as you ask. What you ask is done.
Alright, nothing there. Come on, I need to look at. Shit, it's nothing. Huh? These are all net. Oh, hello. Sorry. All right. Let's get out of here. I don't want to check out.
How do you do?
Actually, I'm looking for a missing noblewoman. Lord's daughter. She was a new shade of green when I seen her the other morning. Chatting with Tyrgel, she was outside of the shop. You're talking about morning sickness. Was she pregnant? I worked into a state about it, she was. The girl was so sick she didn't even notice. Tyrgel's thinking I offered her some herbs to take care of the problem, though it might save her some trouble with her old man, but she wouldn't have it. Lord Heron said she was ill from travel. That were no road sickness. Trust me, I know when I see it. Thanks for the information.
Gods keep you.
Let's see. 'Cause I had a feeling when I found that damn key. What can you tell me about Alis Herond? Only that her father's men have been banging on the door and stirring up trouble looking for her. I never met her myself. Hendina said you two had met. Did she now, and what else did she say? She saw the two of you talking. What was it about? Her father dragged her out here to get hitched to some backwoods noble. She wanted an escape all right, and I was happy to give it to her. We snuck across the river a few nights ago for some private time. Come to find out, we weren't exactly alone. An ogre tall and went for his tail sprung from out of the forest, and we were so lost in the heat of the moment, we didn't notice it until it was upon us. Grabbed Alice and disappeared into the night before I could even pull my britches up. Well, why didn't you mention this to her father? Oh, so you abandoned her? Coward. And I suppose I should run after the ogre with nothing but my own waning scepter to attack it? A lot of good that would have done us both. She could still be alive. I'm just in no shape to go after her. But that heron looks like he'll have coppers to spare for anyone who found her. Others around here have seen the ogre east of town. Took most of Rumble's pigs just the other day. If someone were to find it, there'd be a lot of grateful people here in Dyrford. I kind of want to open it and see what happens. And alright, so now we gotta go find make a pass around town. Not this. I just now noticed. I bet that the ones with souls are gold. I don't see nothing else suspicious. Okay, so east of town, huh? Let's see what we got going on. Why not? That goal. Yep. Anything interesting this way? Yeah, okay. That's what I'm gonna go look for. Alright, this is where we're going to stop for today. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys are enjoying this. If you are, you know what to do. Leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Really does mean a lot to me. Till next time, love you guys. Y'all really are the best. Take care, and I'll talk to you later. Bye for now.